survival scenarios, or downfall deck?
I don't know.
Let's have a vote. All for survival. Okay.
I'll do downfall.
Okay.
Wait, which one is this one? What is downfall?
That means like collapsing.
Which one did we do last
We
time?
did both.
Did we?
I think
Yeah.
we should do survival. Survival.
All right. Well, we're gonna do downfall.
Flip a coin.
Okay, fine. We'll flip a coin.
Fuck.
Heads. Heads. We'll say
Are you
survival.
recording already?
Survival's heads. Yep. Survival's heads. Downfall's tails. Sound good?
Sure.
Alright, downfall.
Oh shit! That's flip. Heads it is. I already forgot which one.
I know, I did too.
But
Survival was heads.
okay, we'll do
Okay,
survival
we're
then.
starting survival.
Okay.
Alright.
This is the conflicted card game. Every scenario assumes modern civilization is collapsing and the apocalypse is currently taking place. Rule number 1, shuffle the deck and place it in the center of the table. First player reads a card and each player gives their answer, and that's one round. The player asking the question awards the card that was just read to the person with the best answer, and each card is a point. The game moves clockwise and the process repeats. Play as many rounds as desired. The player with the most awarded cards at the end of the game wins. Simple enough. Who wants to go first? Alright, it's been decided. Let's hear it.
US dollar has been printed out of value. The global economy has collapsed. Now the governments of the world have mandated everyone receive radio frequency identification chip as part of a new digital currency. Everyone who does not receive the implant will be cut off from buying or selling. Would you receive the chip? What steps would you take to survive in this world era?
Okay, so basically scenario saying the dollar is inflated to the point where it is not worth anything. So the governments of the world decided to switch to a different type of currency where they implant a chip inside of you, and then apparently that's just how you go about buying and selling stuff.
Would you receive the chip? Or what steps would you take to survive in the new world era?
I'd say I'd go for the chip. Just get an EMC jammer. Jam the frequency that they can track you at, and good to go. When you need it, you just turn it off.
Okay.
I would use the chip, but see if there could be like a compromise and not be tracked.
You won't be tracked.
Yeah, you
That's
won't.
what they
So
say.
you can't trust.
Yeah, you can never trust. Never trust the government.
I would just trust and take the chip. It'll make life easier.
Yeah, I'd probably get the chip too, just because if you don't, then, I mean, you can't get all the stuff that you need unless you do it yourself, which, I mean, making it yourself, which, to be fair, it's possible. Of course, people have gone thousands of years bartering and making their own goods and trading. But, like, acquiring land, if that even is a thing in the future, is going to be next to impossible if you don't have the chip. So, with that in mind, I'd probably get it. I mean, maybe you can cut it out of you in the future.
It's your turn.
I'm reading the question.
Oh, you're...
Yeah, whoever reads the question gives the card. Alright, so
Oh, okay. That's
point
how it
for Dante for saying he'll get the chip, but
The
he'll
jammer.
use a jammer.
Simple jammers are easy to make.
When forming a survival group, what structure of organization is best? Having one leader with people under that person as various levels, or having the entire group share leadership and responsibilities? Why?
I definitely think sharing responsibilities. Because first off, I don't...
Council over a presidency?
Yeah, because I don't want to be led by someone who's a complete jackass, like this guy back here. I'd rather all of us be able to share our ideas and act accordingly with that.
Can I do a combination of both? Like, you have the one main spokesperson, but he has a council that he has to communicate with and get approval before he can act. That way you have one person making the judgments with the backing of a council.
I think I would let that slide, although that kind of gets around the question a little bit, because I feel like a compromise just avoids the question. But
You'd have to choose one, either the entire group share leadership or one leader.
Okay,
what she
then
said.
it would be like a group effort, but you'd have like a head of the group, like a senior group leader.
So literally exactly what you just said. Okay, okay, we'll go with it. Why?
Why?
Yep, why?
Because then that way you don't run into the problem of like people counteracting each other. You have one person telling you to do this, and you have another person telling you no, not to do this. With having one head that's backed by the council, everybody's in agreement, and you have one person giving out commands.
What if everyone isn't in agreement though?
Then it'd have to be a majority rules type thing.
Majority rules. Okay.
I'd say more of a group. I'd prefer more of an oligarchy though, compared to each individual having their own set of power. In an oligarchy, you have set individuals of the group that can control the rest of them, but in a sense that not one person would have
All the
individual power over everyone.
So you're saying like there's a group of people who have more power than the others?
Basically.
Okay.
More checks and balances.
I don't think I explained my why. Maybe I did, but
I don't think you did either.
So I said a group, and the reason I gave was there's people like Zeke back here who are just not the
a
brightest.
strong leader.
Yeah, sure. And that's really it, because you've seen countless examples of societies that have fallen from bad leadership. Not even just societies. I mean, you can look at it at a smaller role as well, but many instances where society has fallen due to bad leadership. So you don't really see that happen as often when everyone has a say in what's going on. You can't have internal conflicts, and of course we've seen that before, but I think that'd be less extreme and less costly than if just one person was making all the decisions and they made a bad decision that costed everyone their lives, or whatever the case may be.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate here. The downfall with that, though, is if you have to make a split-second decision, then you guys are kind of screwed. Because if it takes you a minute to come up with a decision, and you're under a time crunch, it's gonna put you in a strain.
How is that?
You don't have the one person that's gonna take charge.
And that's different from the council, because
Well, I have the figurehead.
okay.
So you say there should be a group. They're all leaders. One
We
specific
basically
group.
all said group.
Yeah.
He said individual power. I said oligarchy, so said individuals have power over their other people. And he said leader with a group of council.
So basically, like I'm saying, say example, 10 people. In my group of 10, everyone's equally as powerful. His group, like 5 of them are more powerful than the other 5. Or maybe 3 of them are more powerful than the other 5.
Other 8 or 7.
Or whatever. And then Zeke says there's one person in charge, but all the others, all the rest of the 9 of them have somewhat of a say in what goes on.
I know. I think I'm gonna go with Dante's answer. Just because I think there should be like a group of people who kind of help out and contribute. And then there should be like the lesser people who don't really get a say in anything.
All the dummies.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, your last loved one in the world has contracted a deadly disease that can spread to you.
Kill him.
To take care of her before she passes would certainly mean your death. But if you don't take care of her needs, no one else will. What would you do in the situation if this happened to you?
If that happened to you, I'd take care of you.
Okay.
Instantly, just kind of take extra precautions.
Well, it says it would certainly mean your death. So if you take care of me, you're gonna die.
Oh man. Okay.
So Okay.
It's
I'm gonna
hard.
sound cold, but even though it may break me, I would have to put you out of your misery. Like, you're on your deathbed and like you're going to die. It's the same thing as putting down an old dog. Like, they're struggling. There's not much I can do for you. So I'm gonna end it quick so you don't suffer.
That's fair.
The thing is, could you bring yourself to do it?
It's easier said than done.
If I have to, yeah. Like, it may break me
What if he begged you though?
not to.
Yeah.
It's an
Make it
SO
harder.
though, so it's not him. It's your SO.
Yeah. Well, even so.
Well,
like,
Even anybody
It said
you care
it said
about.
your last loved
Anyone
one,
you care
so
about.
that could be your brother, mother,
Oh,
wife,
okay.
girlfriend,
Yeah.
boyfriend.
so
I interpreted it differently.
I mean it in an apocalyptic scenario, you gotta do what you have to do.
The thing is, would you want to keep on living when you're alone?
Yep, that's
I
true.
mean, it may
rather have
it
that.
may break me, but even though it broke me, you're not suffering.
There's that silver lining.
I'll go the more emotional route. I would stay with them till the end. The hopeless romantic.
And then
Yep,
and then
me
get
too.
it and die.
Yep.
You do the same.
I would just die.
She's not even gonna try to save you. She's just gonna die herself.
Okay.
And then Levi's just
Oh.
there like, okay, well,
I recover.
I know. Oh man.
she pulled
I
in
get it.
the
You
reverse.
recover.
Yeah. You know what? I hate to say it, but I'm gonna give it to Zeke. Just
What?
because I think, realistically
It's because
speaking,
you pulled the reverse card on him.
no. So here's the deal. Like, if I were actually asked the question, I probably would have agreed with you guys. But looking at it realistically from a survival standpoint, Zeke's makes the best sense to me. It makes the most sense.
You killed me.
Push come to shove, maybe.
If you're bitten by a zombie, I'm gonna put you down.
That's true. That's facts. That's facts.
All right, I take back my answer. Do you too?
Okay, fine.
Be it for
Fine.
you. Instantly. No goodbyes, nothing. Just
You roll your ankle, you're dead.
you're
You're a
gone.
hindrance now.
Fine. Next card.
In a world post-collapse, supplies that aren't replenished eventually run out. When things calm down to the point where a local economy can start flourishing, what type of business or venture would you pursue in order to take care of your needs?
Drugs. I sell hardcore drugs.
Guns. Guns and ammo.
Whiskey
100%.
wipes.
Oh, damn, that's good. That's some good shit. Fuck. As we all know, I mean, when it comes down to it, you can trade like a box of whiskey wipes for at least a dozen AKs.
Yes, very true.
Dang.
Like, if you don't have something to clean yourself with, you're gonna be in some problems.
Hmm.
No one wants to walk around with some rashy ass all day. Let's
Oh
be real.
no. Like,
Medicine.
Ooh, okay.
Medicine.
that's good.
People always get sick, so having a whole supply of that, you could trade that for anything.
It's a
People
tough
would be
one.
desperate. You could get more out of it, actually. I think.
Zeke, are you going to give a real answer, or was that your real answer?
I mean,
I feel like that actually isn't a bad way to go. I mean, toiletries, like not specifically whiskey wipes, but
So you're going to go the creature comfort route.
yeah.
I'm sticking with guns and ammo.
I mean,
That's what I know, and I think people are always going to want to be able to defend themselves and hunt. And people aren't going to want to do it with,
Chapped assholes.
well, yes, but with like crossbows and slingshots and shit. So
But I mean,
You never
can.
know.
You can.
know, it can be possible.
I'd rather just shoot something.
And you can
though.
wipe yourself with a leaf.
Yeah,
Comes
it's gonna be
down to
poison
it.
ivy. Next thing you know,
Use
like,
nature.
I'm gonna have to go with Zeke.
Really? With the
What?
Yeah.
creature comforts?
'Cause
Even over medicine?
creature comfort over medicine, because you need sanitation even for surgery and medicine. So if you don't have that, your medicine could lead to infection, even if it's treated or incorrectly treated.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but ain't gonna matter if you get shot in the forehead because you couldn't defend yourself. So, anyways, next
But
card.
we all know windshield wipes like worth like 10 AKs.
You're right. You're right.
Your survival group of 8 is isolated in the wilderness and has been surviving quite well. You are aware that there are other survivor groups within a 5-mile radius of you. The first group consists of 18 people that are in the same situation that you are, and the other group is a small mountain community of 50 that are struggling but holding on. These two groups are at odds with each other and are choosing one means sadly against the other. You are thinking about establishing an alliance with these groups. Which group would you choose first? How would you establish a relationship for mutual benefit?
Man, that's a tough one because this doesn't keep into consideration your condition, does it? Does it say anything about how you're doing?
It says your survival group of 8 is isolated in the wilderness and have been surviving quite well.
Oh, okay, surviving quite well. Okay, I missed that part.
So one group is struggling.
So the group of 18 is in a similar situation that you are. The group of 50 are struggling.
Oh.
Okay, so first and foremost, truthfully, I wouldn't get involved at all. Until this conflict's over, I would not get involved. But if I had to pick one, probably the group of 18. Because, I mean, if they're already struggling with 50 people, then how is 8 more going to help them in any kind of way? Even with our resources, it's probably going to be tapped out pretty quick. Versus a group of 18 who are doing good, and then us 8 who are also doing good. We both have our resources to combine that can probably sustain all of us. I think that one would make the more logical decision, even though we are outnumbered in that scenario.
All right.
But yeah, I would pick the 18.
I'd go with the group of 50, just because I think the more people you have, the stronger you are as a group. Even though you're struggling with supplies, with all of those extra hands and people, you can all find more supplies and do even better.
I'm going with the mountain group, which is a group of 50, because of their topographical difference. I'm not too sure, though, if it's either the same landscape or a different landscape, because that could come into account.
Yeah, just as well.
It doesn't say, so I want the high ground.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But then again, it says mountain terrain. Doesn't mean like
Mountain
there's
community.
mountain community. Okay. Well, either way, it doesn't say that the mountain region next to
It doesn't
is
say
like
that our
full of
groups
game or
aren't
anything.
mountains as well. So
Well, that too, and we don't know if there's game in those mountains or if they're all gone because it's a group of 50 that have been going towards
have
these
to
resources.
go with Levi because realistically, I think with your supplies that you're going in, you're all right. Yes, you're surviving. And you go join the group of 50, they're just gonna leech off of you because they're not surviving.
Right.
They're struggling.
the two groups are at war, though.
Yeah.
But would you rather have a man advantage or a quantity advantage?
But at the same time, you're not actually joining. You're just building an alliance.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's that.
Next card.
Alright, your family has been without food for quite some time now, and
down.
things are beginning to look bleak.
Put everything down.
You stumble upon a group of people who are friendly enough to barter goods with you. They have a small supply of food that they are willing to trade, but will only accept your only firearms payment. Since this is all you have of value, how would you react in this situation? What would you do?
First off, I stay strapped.
Stay strapped
So
and get
no.
clipped?
No, I'm not
Yeah.
going to do that trade. Nope, won't catch me giving up my only firearm.
So you'd rather starve?
Yep, I'd rather starve or... Well, plus, again, you can use the gun for hunting.
That bunny right there.
Yep, there's literally a bunny. It's right here in front of us. All you need to do is, like, done.
There's 2 for 1.
So, yep, oh, and there's a dog over there, too.
Yep.
That's good eating. So, I'm keeping the gun.
It's small, but yeah.
Enough probably to feed the 4 of us.
True.
So, yep, I'm keeping the gun.
I want to keep the gun as well. Like, dude, the benefits of the single gun will outweigh the small ration of food that they're going to give me. Just because not only is it a survival thing, but I mean, it's a defense thing. Like, I'm not going to give up my last line of defense for some food.
I mean, you could rob them with a gun.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's
okay.
that.
Depending on how many people there are.
It's true.
I mean, they might stay strapped too, so you never know. Gotta be careful with that.
Well, what neither of you consider would be what your family would think of it. Because you guys, or you as the individual could go on and find something to hunt, but maybe the rest of your family can't go on that long.
I don't know, Levi, can we go hunt?
I think we can hunt.
I think we can hunt too.
I think we're hunting. What's your point, Dante?
I'll go the other route and give them my only firearm.
Perfect.
Then I steal back their
That
food.
way, the rest of my family can have extra time where we can craft or build more materials and make our own tools. That way, later we'll be set off and try and work that out later.
All right, to make it more, I'm just going to add to the scenario. If they had something to trade, like seeds or something for actual food procurements, maybe snares, I'd be more inclined to make the trade. But just for food, it's not going to happen. Something for food procurement or water procurement or whatever, yeah, okay, maybe I will. Just going to throw that out there. But for the time being, for what the card says, I'm sticking with no.
Yeah, I think we'd be able to actually survive with one gun. One way or another, we will be able to. Because not, think of it this, it's not just like a gun, but I mean, you can start a fire with it, you can hunt with it. It is a survival tool within itself.
Assuming you have ammo, which is another thing it doesn't touch on. I mean, if we only have like 4 rounds, then 4 rounds ain't going to do much for us.
You could get a rabbit.
You could get a rabbit or a deer or whatever.
You can get a rabbit, deer, and start a fire.
I think it would depend on how much ammo you have. I guess if you had like tons of ammo for that one gun, then I would have to go with not trading the gun over, because then you could just use it to hunt some.
There's a
Hunt
lot
some
of
food.
open-ended loopholes here.
Yeah. This card could have been a little bit more specific. Yeah.
Damn.
All right,
But that's
who
life.
are you awarding the card to?
True.
Okay, let's
The
see.
answer is it depends.
Yeah.
I know. It really depends, honestly, but think I'm gonna go with Zeke's answer.
Thank you.
Like what you said about the defense and stuff like that.
So he said what I said, so I guess I just need to
No,
be more
he
specific.
elaborated a bit more.
I'll just be
You
more
just said stay
specific next
strapped.
time. Well, yeah, I mean, what else is
But
there
yeah.
to it?
But
He
he went into
added the
detail.
survival tool aspect, so
Yeah. He mentioned defense.
Eye roll, massive eye roll. Okay, here we go. You are bugging out by foot. You see a crashed prison bus. Inmates are in it, stuck, trying to get out. The bus is on fire, and they are begging for help. Do you use your axe to break the windshield glass and let them out, or will you let the inmates die? Can't read apparently.
Ooh. How'd your morals feel?
Yeah, that's definitely a morality-based question.
Yeah.
it's also a depends cross.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of bus? Is it maximum security bus, or is it just like
Yeah.
a regular prison bus?
Well, let's just say you didn't know the difference. It's just a
What are they
prison bus.
in for? I need like a list before I let anybody free.
So basically,
like-
what you're saying is no.
As
You
they're
won't.
burning, just okay, yeah.
I think if I saw that, I'd have to let them out. I couldn't like just watch people die, even if they were inmates. I would hope they wouldn't cause any harm to anybody, but I would still let them out and then try to find somebody who can find all of them again.
Yeah,
I don't know.
awfully hopeful there.
Authorities.
Yeah.
The authorities that may not exist.
Yeah, true. If they didn't exist,
Nope.
I mean, just let them out. Like, what are they gonna do if it's the apocalypse?
Steal your shit.
True.
Kill you.
Yeah.
No, or join me, because
Alright,
I let
so-
them out and save their lives.
you never know. It might be a psych bus, and they're just.
It
cuckoo.
might not be though.
Yeah.
Might be just regular inmates in for theft or Anything else?
Okay, so Adriana lost this one. What do you guys think?
Oh.
I'd say I'd let them out and cull the herd later.
Cull the herd later. Okay.
Ooh.
I mean,
Because you could have advantages of letting them out.
yeah, it both scenarios has its own things. I mean, you could let them out, like speak with them, and see if you think like one of them would be a good fit to join your group. But at the same time, I mean, we're in a survival scenario, so I don't know if like everything already is skeptical.
It's risk versus
Yeah, so
probability.
I'm going to have to say I'm going to just let them go. Like, I'm sorry you guys drew the short end of the stick here.
Yeah.
But
is it
I-
even worth letting them out or
Yeah,
putting yourself in danger?
I gotta protect me and mine first.
Yeah, I mean, if the bus is on fire, that shit can blow up.
That's true.
You could get burned, and that puts you at risk.
So-
And it's the cold-hearted choice, but I think that's the right choice, so I'm probably going to go with Zeke on this one. But in fact, I'll give you the card. But to draw like an example from pop culture, in the argument of actually letting them out, well, I guess this goes either way, because looking at like The Walking Dead, when Rick's group first got to the prison, Dante, you've seen The Walking Dead, right?
Yep.
Okay, so
They joined.
right, some of them did, but there was like half of them that joined and they were actually useful in the group, but there was half of them that didn't, that were a problem. Like Tomas basically tried to kill Rick at one point. Actually, a couple of them did. So I mean, it's really risk versus reward. Is it really worth it? Probably not, especially because you can get hurt yourself. So
Yeah.
I'm going with no.
Just kind of, you have to protect you and yours first and foremost.
Right.
So
Your group has managed to survive a catastrophic event, and in fact, you are thriving. The group has many individuals with essential talents that help the group to be successful. However, one day, your only gunsmith/blacksmith let slip that he was once convicted of child molestation. He has never given the group any hint of his past until now, and has been in fact a core and valued member of the group. Do you forget his past and hope that his tendencies don't emerge again, or do you expel him from the group and lose his skill set?
okay. So in an apocalyptic scenario, I'm gonna consider everybody as on somewhat of an equal playing field. I mean, of course I'm gonna watch them, and if something were to come up, then I'd take action. But as long as nothing comes up, I'm gonna allow him to stay in our group. I mean, I'm gonna speak with him and be like, hey, I know you had a past here. I know this is what happened, but as it sits right now, as long as you can be a functioning member of society without backsliding, then you're good to go. It's like trying to give a job to somebody with a felony. Like as long as you're a functioning member and you're not trying to slide back into what got you in trouble, then you're okay.
So it's like you got a clean slate for now.
But you're on a short-ish leash.
For now, I'm going to keep him in the group. I think at this point it's time to start having him train people, though. Not kids, for obvious reasons, but start to get more people with that kind of skill set. And for the time being, I kind of do like the idea of a clean slate, even though that's one of those things that are really hard to look past. So for now, he's accepted, but at the very first sign of any sketchy behavior, even if it's like the smallest thing, like he's out for sure. And hopefully by then, everything, or he will have taught enough to some of these other people where they can kind of pick up where he left off. But yeah, and also he's not allowed around kids, that's for sure.
I'd kick him from the group just because, especially if there were kids in the group, you just don't know what he would do, and you can't say you're gonna be there because yeah, you could keep an eye on him, but there's only so much you could keep an eye on someone. You may not know, he may be doing whatever he was doing before.
The problem like that is right now we are thriving. we lose a like fundamental part of our group, that can cause the entire group to collapse.
It's just one more person.
For the time being, you gotta keep them.
Just one more person. Wouldn't make much of a difference with the whole group. A whole functioning group.
And again, you can draw an example of this from The Walking Dead when the group first got to Alexandria, and then Jesse's husband was beating her and the kids. And obviously, because they didn't take action soon enough, eventually led to, spoiler alert, Jesse's husband killing Deanna's husband.
Huh?
So, I mean, I can definitely see the appeal to just solving the issue right then and there. But
yep, get rid of him quick.
So, I don't think, man, there's really not a wrong answer, but there is a wrong answer at the same time. It's just one of those things where you don't really know until you're in the situation.
There's really not a wrong answer, but there's not a right answer.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Right.
It just depends on how you feel about it as a leader.
And maybe it would be a good thing to talk to them, kind of like Zeke was saying, and get more information about what had actually happened. So, plus it didn't say specifically that he did do it. It just said that he was found guilty, right? Said he
was convicted of.
Yeah, convicted doesn't necessarily mean that he was actually did it. Right, he could have been framed. So it's get his side of the story for sure. But if it seems sketch, or if he seems like a sketch person, then yeah, he's probably out.
I'll give it to Levi.
Okay.
I'll take it. Give it to me.
That'll make it too quick. Plus,
I think I brought up a good point about training others.
He would get rid of him eventually, but not until after he trained people.
Yeah. After months of bugging out with your best friend, you realize that the food and water supply is getting low. Upon further investigation, you find that your best friend has been selling the food and water for money and ammunition, but not telling anyone else. He's putting you and your family at risk, as well as his own. How would you handle his betrayal?
So he's been selling it for food and ammo? Or no, he's been selling it for
money and ammunition.
Money and ammo, okay.
And for himself too, huh?
It just says money and ammunition.
But he hasn't told you about the money or the ammunition, so.
And he's selling your food?
He's selling the group's food.
The group's food. Yeah, can't have that. Sorry, Dante, but unexcusable.
I mean, I want that ammo. Now that I know about it, he's gotta share it.
I want that food. Not cool.
Plus, we don't know who he's been dealing with.
Right.
It couldn't be a not-so-good group.
And by doing this trading, it lets that group know that, we have supplies, which could paint a target on our back. So he's putting us at risk in multiple ways. One, by giving away all of our food. And two, by letting it known that we have food, which again paints a target on their back. So, yeah, I mean, at that point, it's just like, I want to say that he'd be kicked out of the group, but realistically speaking, it's hard to say for sure, especially if you're just now finding out about it. Maybe see what his reasoning was. But if he's hoarding all of that stuff for himself, especially money, because it's post-collapse, what do you need money for?
True.
It's like you're wasting just this food that we have. So I'd like to say I'd just get rid of him, but I guess I would see what his reasoning was, and if it wasn't satisfactory, then he'd be gone. If it was, and he could make a valid point for it, then maybe he would stay for the time being. But there would be some sort of repercussions for it.
I mean, I guess I'd want to talk to him and know the reason why. I'd assume the worst. I'd assume he's just selling it for himself. Especially if I didn't know about it. But I'd want to talk to him first, see what his real reason was. Maybe he had like a family and he was doing it for them. In that case, I'd probably be kind of merciful. But I think there would still be consequences. I would have him try to pay back everything he took, maybe in a different way, by finding more supplies for the group.
Start sending him on scavenging runs.
Yeah, but I would definitely also keep an eye on him. I would keep him in the group, just keep an eye on him, make sure he wasn't doing it anymore. And then I would want to get, like, the information on what he knows about the other group, what they know about our group. So I would want to get that information first.
So for me, I'd forgive him as long as he can, or as long as the ammo that he got was put into the group, and then relocate to find a new place. Make sure he doesn't sell to an unverified group again.
Would there be any other punishments?
No.
No? Okay.
Just a slap on the wrist.
Kind of like the scene from Red Dawn where... Okay. Kind of like the scene in Red Dawn where, I think his name was Daryl or something like that, ran into town, was captured by the KGB, and they put a tracking chip in him, and it led the bad guys directly to the Wolverines, which in theory could be the same thing that would happen with this guy trading all of our stuff, pinning a target on our back, and then they killed him for it.
Said short.
I'm just giving an example. They killed him.
I'm going with Dante.
Okay.
Like, I don't necessarily think the guy should be kicked out. You gotta talk to him and see what's going on. I mean, if he's selling off food to replenish our group ammunition, okay, I can live with that. But we gotta move past this. I mean, I'm not just gonna kick you out because you made a dumb decision. Like,
that's fair. So let's say if worst case scenario, it resulted in like one of our people getting captured or killed, then yeah, maybe it would more than justify kicking him out of the group. Okay, that's fair. Okay, describe how you would approach other prepper groups after the collapse.
cautiously. So basically, like, I'd try to do some scouting to see what they're about before I even attempt to approach them. See if they're decent enough to be able to go in and have a conversation with them. Like, if they're doing some shady stuff that I can see, then they're doing some shady stuff that I can't see. And that's going to worry me. So if that's the case, I'm going to move on to the next group of people, and hopefully they're better. Like, I have to be somewhat informed who I'm dealing with before I can start dealing with somebody.
I would say I would approach him strapped, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And
I thought that goes without saying.
I wanted to mention it just in case.
Stay strapped or get
Stay
clapped.
strapped. And I would probably scope them out if that was possible. But if you kind of just ran into them, there wouldn't be much you could do. You would just have to kind of be prepared for the worst.
I'd approach him head on with some backup. The thing about the two of yours is, what if they catch you scoping them out? If they catch you scoping them out, then that might hinder the relationship before even it started.
I mean, yes. But at the same time, if you come up trying to show too much force, then they're immediately going to think that you guys are going to try to fight.
I said briefly scope them out too, if you can.
Yeah.
Not make it a point, though.
Okay, hold on. Dante, I want you to elaborate a little bit more. When you say face them head on with some backup, you mean like how?
So, set up a meeting in an open place with snipers, basically. That way, either side wouldn't win if it did lead to a firefight.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't like any of you guys' answers.
It's either that or just leave them alone
What do you do?
and not do anything. But if you had to meet people, that's how I would do it.
Yeah,
Establish a line of trust from the first impression.
right, and that's what I like, but you're talking about doing that
With force.
with force. Yeah, so I think having a little transparency here would be nice.
Like, I'm just trying to get to know you before I get to know you. Like, I mean, if I can get a hint of what you have going on, like if you guys are respectable, then I will come in, like, show you all the respect that I'm willing to give, and hopefully you're gonna give me the same respect. But if I see something that's like not good or it's very questionable, then I'll probably avoid you and move on to the next group.
If I had to pick, I'm probably going to go Zeke. Dante would be the number 2. No offense.
Hey.
See, I think
I still don't have a
5.
card yet.
yeah, 5.
Game over.
Game over. So let me evaluate on my decision here. With Dante, I think initially I kind of liked his answer the most, just because I would rather kind of talk to these people before. But realistically speaking, with transparency though, I don't want to go in there guns a-blazing. I want to be there in a friendly manner, which is what I didn't get from Dante's answer. Zeke's answer though, especially when he evaluated or elaborated a little bit more, made more sense though. Like getting to know somebody before you get to know somebody. That was good. I like that. So that's why I chose Zeke. But we decided we were going to go to 5. First person with 5 cards. I got 3. Dante, how many did you get?
4.
You had 4?
I think so.
Okay.
Let's count them
Adriana?
None.
None. And Zeke
Nice,
got his
yes.
5, so
You did
Zeke
this on
was the
purpose.
winner.
all. I guess it's 3.
All
Okay,
of
Dante
you
got
guys
3.
did this on purpose.
Yeah,
Just
we
do
just don't
better
like
than
women. But no, just kidding. Don't get offended. Anyways, so that was the
Hard enough.
conflicted. True. That was the conflicted card game, and I don't remember who
Survivor.
actually makes it. It just called the game. They have a board game as well, but that was that. Appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed this, you can always let me know in the comments. We'll maybe do another episode. And with that being said, be sure to check out the Patreon below. And then there's some good causes you can support in the description as well, like Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Firearms Policy Coalition. There's a children's hospital and Team Trees as well. And with that all being said, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I've been Levi, Adriana, Dante, Zeke, and we will see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.